Hey, it's me, Twisty Ceives, and recently I binge watched the entire second season of Jessica Jones because I am such a huge fan of the first season in every freaking way. I enjoyed the first season so very much. So when season 2 came out on March 8th, I was like, yeah bro, I'm there. However, I was actually deeply disappointed in the second installment of the Jessica Jones series. I found it to be uninteresting, unnecessary, and a complete waste of the characters' times. While in the first season, the plot slowly built towards one singular event, the second season didn't seem to build up to any specific arc, and in the end, I just felt disappointed in the characters and the choices they made. Jessica Jones herself remains to be the only one that held any high intrigue, but even that slowly faded as the season drug on. So without any further ado, I shall explain why I think this, and for those of you who have yet to have the privilege to watch the second season, do keep in mind that the following video will contain massive spoilers. So spoiler warning, keep it warm, spoilers, moving on. My first and utmost complaint would be the season's ending. After discovering Jessica's mother was still alive, I was definitely interested because it seemed to crack the boarded up door of Jessica Jones' soul. But after this startling revelation, there seemed to be a lot more standing around and talking rather than actual consequences. At the end of the season, Jessica accepts her mother only to have her shot by her best friend who, may I remind you, relapsed into drug addiction. However, Trish wasn't even high or enhanced at this point in the final episode. She was simply further effing up her so-called best friend's life. This turn of events made absolutely no sense. When Patsy Trish Walker was using Simpson's inhaler, her mind was clearly being altered for the worse. But when she made the extremely stupid and hurtful decision of killing Jessica's mother, she wasn't high, she wasn't drunk, she wasn't enhanced by an ex-boyfriend's government inhaler. She was simply Trish. And the Trish Walker I know and love from the first season of Jessica Jones would never have killed, let alone considered killing Jessica Jones' mother. There simply wouldn't have been a choice. The supposed plot twist of season 2 made absolutely no sense. I would have rather Kilgrave walk out from behind the fair game and say, hey Jessica, it's me, that stupid doctor of your mother's brought me back to life and I'm here to further F you up again. Which, that's a terrible impersonation, but you get what I'm saying. Honestly, this would have made much more sense rather than turning Trish Walker into a cold-blooded murderer. Or maybe if the show had built up to that particular aspect of herself a little more, it would have made more sense. But instead, we went from Trish in a hospital with an IV bag to Trish in a fairground with a gun. It simply didn't make sense in the context of the show. My second complaint about the second season would be the lack of an actual villain. For the first half of season 2, the viewers view Alyssa Jones as the villain along with IGH's own Dr. Kozlov. We have someone against which to root and about which to be curious. Throughout the entire first season of Jessica Jones, I was constantly wondering who Kilgrave was and why he was so damn interested in Jessica. And around episodes 8 and 9, I mostly understood. Yet by this point, so many other events were set in motion that I had to stick around to find out what happened next. But in the latest installment of Jessica Jones, you pretty much fully understand who Alyssa Jones is, Jessica's mother, and why she's been doing what she's been doing by like episode 8, and then that was it. Trish's actions of wanting to be superpowered were disconnected from the events in Jessica's life and only seemed to set off Jessica's mother's inner rage monster. The rest of the season was just a series of things happening and emotions flying around. There was no main agenda, there was no driving point, it was just a mess of screwed up characters acting on instinctual levels. And while a villain wouldn't have made the show perfect, it certainly would have given it a stronger backbone. My third and probably final legitimate complaint would be Jessica's seeming acceptance of everything that happened at the end of the season. Don't get me wrong, I definitely believe in closure and forgiving oneself. But if your best friend killed your mother, no matter how complicated the situation, it would definitely leave a scar. And yet, Jessica seemed to improve instead of getting worse. Remember, this is a woman who drinks booze, bangs guys, and faces her problems head-on by continually punching them in the head until they're unconscious.
I always deal with threats head-on, meaning I punch them in the head until they're unconscious.
And yet her best friend kills her dead mother, and in response, Jessica lets her go and proceeds not to beat the of her when Trish visits her apartment. Then she goes on to talk about her living her life when her mother just effing died as a cause of her supposed best friend, a mother who was previously dead for 17 years. Where's the heartbreak? Where's the relapse? Where's the point of the show where I go, oh crap, poor Jessica, damn, that sucks, I really hope she pulls through. Instead I responded with, well, that happened. There was no point in which I paid the character, not because she didn't endure something horrific, but because it simply was gone about all wrong. So those are my main 3 complaints. However, as this review has been almost entirely negative, there were a few things about the second season that I did thoroughly enjoy. The first would be the season's soundtrack. Once again, I more than enjoyed the choice of jazzy composition was absolutely swept away by the feeling and meaning it gave the show. It perfectly fit and matched everything that happened and overall wrapped the entire season and ambience that seemed to say things that the story couldn't. Secondly, the interaction between some of the characters was priceless. Malcolm working with Jessica was absolutely adorable at certain points, and Trish telling the entire city that actual life is more important than lifestyle talks rang so true with the character. The subtle development of Oscar and his son was wonderfully heartwarming, and Janet McTeer's portrayal of Alyssa Jones was stunning. Her ability to play a totally uncontrollable monster and at the same time be a loving mother was no less than perfection. Never once did I doubt the character's existence in the fictional world of Jessica Jones. The same could be said of Rachel Teller's depiction of Patsy Trish Walker. Her presence on screen was truly captivating, all the way until the season's ending, of course. The camera work and choice of angles was once again fitting to the drab and dark world of Jessica Jones. And last but not least, Carrie Ann Moss's depiction of the now dying Jerry Hogarth was so perfectly relatable. Seeing someone with an enormous god complex find out she's dying and having to deal with that was an experience that was very saddening to watch. It brought a certain humanity to the character that was honestly completely absent before. Overall, I found the second season to be mainly disappointing. After watching all 13 episodes, I believe now more than ever that the first season was a gem of cinema that can never be topped. But if the team over at Netflix wants to take that as a challenge, I will be looking out for the 3rd season. So what were your thoughts? Were you disappointed by Jessica Jones Season 2, or did you enjoy it? Whatever your opinions, give me your thoughts in the comments below. I look forward to reading what you have to say.